I started out as a big failure. We're talking huge. I failed so much that I began to wonder if I would ever succeed. It started with screenwriting failure. Over 10 years of it. I wrote script after script after script, and none of them went anywhere. I toiled in absolute obscurity for an entire decade. I would try to beg agents to read my stuff, but I never got representation. At the tail end of my failed bid to become a screenwriter, I adapted one of my scripts into a novel. Once I had worked that novel into shape, I started querying literary agents. I was looking to get trad pubbed as soon as possible. And guess what? I got rejected. A lot. We're talking dozens of times. Once again, failure arrived at my doorstep. A year later, I discovered self publishing. Hoping to finally taste success, I signed up for an account, loaded up my book on the self publishing platform, and hit publish. And that's when the money started rolling in. All $2 of it. Suffice it to say, it was a rough first month. In fact, it was a tough couple of years. I wrote a number of books in a number of different genres. I even wrote a whole series. I also published some short stories. I was all over the place. I kept thinking it was only a matter of time before I broke out. But 24 months into my self publishing journey, all I had to show for my hard work was abject failure. At this point, you might be asking yourself, why is he telling me this story? Is he trying to depress me? Nope. I had dredged up all of those awful memories for a very specific reason. Even though there were plenty of reasons for me to give up, even though it seemed like success just wasn't in the cards for me, I kept at it. I was tenacious. I was insanely determined to turn things around. Then, one day, it happened. My hard work began to pay off. My books started selling. It was incredible. A dream come true. Once I got my first sniff of a success, I doubled down on my efforts. Why stop there when I could build upon my success, right? Now here I am, 7 years later, with over 2 million words published. I have been a full-time author for the last 4 years. But I'll never forget the day that everything changed for me. I'll also never forget why it changed. You see, it's not a coincidence that my book started selling. During the early stage of my career, I was doing almost everything wrong. I was jumping around from genre to genre. I was writing unmarketable stories. I wasn't paying attention to reader expectations. I was doing things my own way. My first truly successful book, the one that turned things around for me, it was different. Before I wrote it, I picked an established genre, a popular genre. I studied what types of books were selling in that category, the types of covers, the types of blurbs, the types of stories. I read a number of the best-selling books in that category. In doing so, I got a feel for reader expectations. Then I designed my book to meet those reader expectations. Do yourself a favor. Research what the readers in your category want and give it to them. Once you start doing that, you might be surprised about how quickly things can turn around for you. Now, before you go, I want to tell you about a free mini guide that I'm giving out. It's called The Top Mistakes That Self-Publishers Make. You can get your copy by clicking on the link in the description of this video. Claim your copy now.